Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous episode 175. I'm your host Rico, here with my co-host
Misa Dane Cody.
Misa, Dane, Cody, and I get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever the hell we like. Primarily video games, of course.
Yes, that is a thing we do on this show.
Welcome, if you've never been here before. We usually start off with a little BS, get into some what you've been playing, talk about the news, public service announcements, and our free-for-all section, of course. And welcome back if you've been here before. Thanks for sticking with us. Episode 175, and oh boy, Dane, did I have a weekend.
Yes, you did.
I don't know, nothing too exciting.
You had a weekend of not playing video games.
So everybody buckle up and get on this ride, this train. It's going right off the tracks.
It's been a while since we've had a Rico's Rants on the show.
So Saturday morning, I stayed up late on Friday, but I'll playing Destiny, and I'll talk about that when we get to what you've been playing.
All right.
The Saturday morning, I woke up early.
Nice.
Pulling
a me.
Yeah, I was like, sweet, everyone's sleeping. I'm going to, go play some Assassin's Creed, get in an hour or two before everybody's up. This is dope.
Hell yeah.
Then I went to go turn on my PS4. And my PS4 just did not sound right.
Was there like a little...
Oh, it was like a screeching and a clicking.
Wow. Yeah.
So I posted a video on Twitter, on the Geekoholics Twitter.
Yep.
So you can actually have a listen. There's a couple tweets because... I actually tweeted at Sony because, just the story gets better. But anyway, I went to go turn it on and no picture on the screen. Just this screeching and clicking and weird noise coming from my PS4. And I'm like, well, that's not good. So I turned it off. And I had this happen a few weeks ago.
Ouch.
And I was like, that's not good. But I turned it off then and turned it back on. And
everything was good? No.
Yeah. And then I tried that this time, turned it off and on, same noise. I'm like, okay,
that
off and on, same noise. So like 6 times, same noise, and no, it wouldn't boot. I'm like, oh man,
oh dude, that's rough.
So I'm like, the only thing that the system, besides the fans don't make that noise. The hard drive's the only moving part. Well, and I guess the optical drive, but I didn't have a disk in the system,
right?
And I'm like, that's got to be the hard drive. Lo and behold, of course, I take the hard drive out and hook it up to my PC, and it's obviously screaming and screeching even louder because obviously it's not inside the PS4. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely the hard drive. Awesome. And Windows doesn't even register that there's like a drive connected at all. Like disk management, like nothing. I'm like, well, that's a bunged up hard drive. I'm like, sweet. So instead of getting to play games, I luckily had an extra hard drive lying around. Actually, my old 2 terabyte that I used to use in my PS4, my old PS4 Pro.
Oh, okay.
I was planning to get an enclosure, which I have, that I got now from Amazon. It finally arrived. That was going to go in an enclosure and be an extra 2 terabytes of external storage. Well, guess what? It's now living in the PS4 Pro, my 500 million limited edition system, because I wanted to play games. So I managed to get it up and running.
Have you talked to Sony? Are they going to send you a new hard drive?
Oh, yeah, just wait.
Sorry.
So I got it up and running. Obviously, now I'm out a 2 terabyte hard drive. I have a brick of a hard drive that shipped with this system.
Yep.
And I spent my morning fixing PS4, not playing PS4.
Yep.
So, of course, I'm like, sweet.
Well, and now all your games, all your programs, everything you had loaded on there is gone.
Everything's gone.
I mean, luckily you had cloud saves, right?
Oh, yeah. Cloud saves for the win. My Assassin's Creed save from the night before, because I was playing up until like 1 in the morning. I just downloaded it and started playing again, thankfully.
Oh, so that's good.
Not that I had lots of progress, but it was a couple hours progress I didn't want to lose.
In a game that size, a couple hours is helpful.
Yeah, well, especially when you got to fight for every hour you get, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm like, whatever. I tried doing their support. They're closed on the weekend.
Right.
I tried doing their chat on Monday when I went to work. oh yeah, sure. What's the serial number? Blah blah. Oh yeah, you're definitely under warranty.
No kidding. I've had it for 2 weeks.
Let's get a return for servicing. We'll just need you to send in the system. And I'm like,
the system's fine. It's just
I'm like,
the hard
which
drive.
part of the whole conversation we've had here did you not get that there's nothing wrong with the PS4? It's just a hard drive. Well, we don't just send out hard drives. We need to diagnose the system. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with the system. We need to diagnose the system. It was like a broken record. These guys in wherever they're working just work off a script and they don't actually fucking listen or read anything you type.
Nope.
So I just closed the chat because I was ready to jump through the internet and strangle the person on the other side of the phone. Because all I need is a 2 terabyte hard drive. Sony, you owe me a 2 terabyte hard drive. How hard is that? There's nothing wrong with the system.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try calling in because I'm going to get someone that understands what's going on, right? No, it's the exact same broken record, word for word responses that I was getting in chat.
Yep.
But being spoken by someone that I seriously, I'm going to have a hard time not finding their address and going to murder them. Because not only were they not listening to what I was saying, they were so condescending and rude. Well, you're the they kept calling me the expert. You're the expert in this. So I'm like, yeah, I'm the expert. The PS4 is fine. Well, we need to send it into diagnosing. I'm like, what are you going to fucking diagnose? The fucking thing works. Oh, it was infuriating. Oh my God. I wanted to kill. I've never wanted to literally
hurt somebody that badly.
Like, I really wanted to murder this person.
As somebody who calls these call centers on a regular basis, this is very amusing to me.
So, yeah, he's like, no, you need to send the system. Like, what part do you not get that I have a limited edition system? It's mint. And the second I send it to you guys, yeah, I'm going to get my hard drive. But number one, I'm going to be without a system for who knows how long during, like, its game season.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want to send it in right now just for that. And then the fact that there's nothing wrong with the system. I'm going to send you my mint system that's like a collector's item worth money down the road.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send it to you, and you guys are going to scratch it all to hell, ding it all up on your fucking workbench because you don't give a shit. And then I'm going to get something back that's, who knows, they might not even send me the same system, and you can't replace the system. They might freaking just send me a black PS4 Pro for as far as I'm concerned. Whoa. Like,
I mean, I doubt. I don't know. I like to think that wouldn't be the case, but I mean,
man,
anything's possible.
It's just so infuriating. So, yesterday I resorted.
Like, unfortunately, I get where, like, they're not lying to you because, of course, like, they don't send out hard drives. They just literally get systems back and ship out systems. Like, that's their whole thing. But
they have
right?
stacks of hard drives in their service center. So how hard is it for a manager to go down there and be like, bloop, bloop?
Yeah.
Or I have to send a big giant box and waste shipping to send my system to risk it getting damaged when it gets there. So now I'm out of freaking hard drive. I ended up hanging up on that guy because I wanted to kill him. He didn't want to get me a manager. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So I tried making some noise on social media a day ago, and nothing. No response from Sony whatsoever. So I'm just going to say Sony's just a big FU fail on support, like big time. I've never had to deal with it, but
that sucks,
it's terrible. Man. So right now I'm just like, I'm hoping that they answer me on Twitter. It's only been a day because I looked back because I felt like I did it 3 days ago, and it's like it was less than 24 hours ago. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, man.
And yeah,
so
that's hard.
Anyway, I got some other ideas on how to deal with it. Luckily, I had another 2 terabyte, but it's like I'm out of hard drive, and a 2 terabyte laptop, like internal hard drive, that it's not $50.
No, I mean, luckily they're like, they weren't putting SSDs in them, so it's not like it's worth like $1 jillion. But I get what you're getting.
Still over $100.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Like, I'm so effing livid right now. And there's nothing wrong with systems. Systems are rock solid, super quiet, working perfect because it was just a hard drive.
Right.
Because I'm not a fucking idiot and I know how to diagnose these things. Thankfully, it was just a hard drive because if the system was dead and wouldn't boot, then I would have been really upset.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to swallow my pride and send it in and risk it getting all effed up and dinged up, total first world problem, just to get my hard drive. But like, the timing's terrible too. Like, I don't know how long the warranty is, and it's like, I hold it over winter, and they're like, oh, you're out of warranty now. Oh, thanks,
it's a year.
assholes.
PS4 has a year on it.
So
that's their standard warranty. So
I got another idea on how to get that hard drive replaced, but it's a little more nefarious. I did reach out to Seagate, because it's a Seagate drive,
right,
and put in like a RMA request directly through them. But I haven't heard anything. That was like a couple days ago.
Interesting, yeah.
So when I tried using their automated system, it's like, sorry, talk to who you bought this from, because
the serial number has been sold to somebody else.
The serial number is like a mass market, like,
it's an OEM drive.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's clearly under warranty. So I did a manual, like, contact us with all the information. It's just like, I'm hoping that goes somewhere, because then they'll just send me a hard drive, because it is their hard drive. In my opinion, technically, they should still honor the warranty on it.
Yeah.
I don't see why.
The way all that stuff works is so weird. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's super frustrating. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, my friend. It was a weekend of just hard drive failures all around. So on Sunday...
Yeah.
I was like, I had a hard drive laying around my house, like, that I wanted to add to my computer. I wanted more storage space.
It was like a 500 gig, right?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, I have had it for a while, and I just never got to adding it, because it involved opening the case, rearranging drives, doing a bunch of shit. And I'm just like, oh, I have some time. I'm going to do this now. I'm
literally looking at 4 hard drives sitting on my shelf for that exact same reason.
I opened the case, reorganized cords, moved stuff around. I'm like, oh, sweet. Took a little longer than I expected.
It always does.
I had to slap it all together, go to turn my computer on. Beer. Nothing. Like, the lights click on for a split second, and it goes
power off.
I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I'm like, okay, turn it on, try doing it again, flick the switch on the power supply. Beer. Nothing.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. So I unplug, like, I have a modular power supply, so I just unplug the rail that has, like, the new drive on it.
Right.
Which was integrated with some of my older drives.
Right, but luckily just your storage drives, right?
Yeah, not my boot drive or my secondary SSD.
Good.
Just my 2 terabyte drive.
Right.
It's good, not good. I disconnect it, boom, powers up. Like, okay. I try removing the drives and adding them one by one. Same thing. Anything that was connected on that drive, just the computer wouldn't start up.
Was it just like, because you said you powered up with like each drive separately, right?
Yeah.
So anything on that
anything
rail?
On that, I imagine that rail was the problem.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just like there's 6 plugs for those types of drive connectors.
Yep.
So I'm like, whatever. Okay. Computer's booting, it's working. I've just lost these drives. Like, I just got to deal with it. And I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out what's going on. So I just start taking them out. And it didn't matter where I plugged it in on the power supply or what. Nothing would be recognized by Windows at this point now. I had the computer back up and running.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, great. So now I got to get my cradle out. All 3 drives are dead.
Oh, that's the worst.
My 2 terabyte, like 2 of them were SSDs and one was a 3.5 inch. Doesn't even make a sound. Like, no spinning, no vibration, like nothing. Like, it's
dead like doornail.
So clearly, either that rail magically had a short, or that hard drive I added that was sitting around had a short and shorted out. I can't even figure out how, but everything that was plugged on that cord shorted. They're all deader than a doorknob.
I won't lie. If it was me and I was you, I would probably replace that power supply. Just because if that rail is bad, and like, is that indicative of something else? Like, I don't know. That, or you could, I don't know how old the power supply is, but
it's only a couple years old. It's an 800 watt. It's like it's a good power supply.
It still might be under warranty then. I know my power supply's got like
how's that work
5?
With NCAX?
It wouldn't be through them, it'd be through the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So I don't know who, like, is it a Corsair? Is it a wherever?
I could look into it, but the power supply's fine. The computer's fine, everything else is fine.
Yeah.
The power is fine. So it's like, I guess either I had a bad cord. So now I'm scared to use all those cords.
Like I said, it's a lot more likely that a rail on the power supply went.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I don't
because
know.
that even with my 1080, like I should be able to handle 4 SSDs and a 3.5-inch drive.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's more than enough. Because my computer sucks more power than yours does, and even if I put a 1080 in here, I've still got.
I might even have a 1,000-watt power supply.
Wow, that would be really overkill for your system.
I know, but it was on sale. It was like a gold plus or platinum or something, and it was on a really good price, so I just got more than I needed, right?
A lot of people do that, and then they wonder why their power bill for their computer is so high, but they don't realize that even though your computer is only sucking 700 watts or 500 watts, your power supply is still pulling the 1,000 watts out of the wall.
Yeah, either way.
So essentially, like, if you're only using 500 of it, like, you're literally wasting half the power that you're drawing whenever you're running your computer.
I hate the planet. Okay.
So
yeah, anyway, in my cradle's all dead. And of course, my 2 terabyte C8 warranty was up 2 months ago. And then to add insult to injury, from the last time I formatted Windows, I forgot to install the Google Cloud Updater. So I'm missing like 4 months of photos.
Oh, that sucks.
And of course, one of our most recent Hawaii trip is in there, and I'm like, I don't have those photos anywhere.
Did you didn't take them on your phone, I assume, then?
I took some on my phone, but I took a lot with my camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's rough, dude.
Yeah, because it was my old camera, and I had them on my hard drive. That was before I got the Pixel.
Yeah. So, as an IT professional, to anybody out there wondering, like, oh, shit, how do I make sure that this shit doesn't happen to me? I'm going to recommend a little cloud backup storage solution called Backblaze. It's cheap. It allows you to have unlimited cloud storage. It's a very small app. It runs on your computer. When your computer isn't doing anything, it essentially like looks at changes. If there's been changes, it uploads those changes to the cloud. And you can tell it, you can tell it to not bother backing up your C drive. You can tell it to back up only specific stuff, or you can tell it, I want you to back up everything. And in a case like yours, they would actually have a couple options. One of them is they could actually ship you a hard drive. And when you get it, you could just pull all of your information back up off of it and then send it back to them. Or you could keep it and they'll just charge you whatever, it's like $80 or whatever it is for the hard drive. Or if you don't need it right away and you can wait a few days, they will bundle it all in a very large chunk and tell you where you can download it from.
Yeah,
and they offer this service like surprisingly cheap, and you can have multiple computers. We use it for clients on a fairly regular basis. It's so I'm just, if people are wondering like how to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen, that's a good option. So,
dude, trust me, I'm kicking myself in the ass because I have the Google backup running all the time, except for after I did my clean Windows install and I forgot to reinstall it. That was like literally the 4 months that I haven't, ever since I got my Pixel up until that point, I've only ever taken photos with my phone. I quit using my big freaking camera because the only advantage it has is zooming and night shots, and I'm not doing so much of that.
Right.
The pixels they're automatically backed up. So like I didn't realize and I forgot to install it. Otherwise, I've had it running the entire time, and those photos would have been backed up. And I do normally do a backup every couple months, like a big physical backup, and I also freaking didn't do that in way overdue. So I need to schedule that, but Good news is one of the SSDs has already been RMA'd.
No, that's good.
It's going to get replaced. So I assume the other one will too, because they're under warranty. And then my other one, my 2 terabytes out of warranty.
Right.
So I don't, obviously, no amount of crying, I guess, a Seagate will do anything. Like, by a couple months too, which is infuriating. The one good thing is I found a company in Vancouver, of all places, actually in White Rock, in your neighborhood, because the SSD, I don't think there's anything wrong with the platters or the arms or anything. I don't think the short would have gone that far.
You mean not the SSD?
Yeah, not the 3.5-inch drive.
Right, your mechanical drive.
My mechanical drive.
Yeah.
But they're not ID anymore. My SATA drive.
Yeah.
But it's the same
thing,
isn't it? It's platters and...
Yeah, it's your mechanical drive versus...
Yeah, so anyway, that one, I assume the data is just sitting there, except for the short killed probably the voltage regulator to power it up. Because it's a diode or something like fried on there. So they fixed the boards.
Oh,
they transfer the firmware BIOS from your board to the new board so that it'll still operate your hard drive, because there's kind of like a copyright protection on the drives.
Yep.
So, yeah, I sent it over there. It's $50. So it's a $50 long shot to...
Well, if it works, then awesome. And if
to
not,
revive that drive.
Right.
So he's shipping it back. I'm hoping I'll get it this week. We'll know next week. So
that's cool.
I assume that data's fine. Now, there's other options, but Jesus Christ, data recovery is big business, man.
Oh, very big money.
So Seagate, you know how much Seagate charges to recover a hard drive? $899. And they send it back to you on a 4 terabyte SATA drive. Thanks, guys.
That's actually cheaper than I thought they were going to say.
And then $799, and they put it in the cloud. So for $100, I would get the 4 terabyte drive. But I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, I'm only missing this much months of photos. Is it worth that much? And she's like, She's like, it sucks because we had some really good photos from that trip. And then I found this guy, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% positive this board replacement is going to work. The data's there. It just needs to be powered on. So
I feel like he would be able to at least tell you, like...
Well, I didn't send the drive. You take the board off.
Oh, I see.
So it's one of these boards that's just basically 5 screws, and you take it right off.
So, interesting.
Anyway, I sent it to them, and I'm pretty sure that's half the time. I bet you that's what all these data recovery guys do. They get the boards and do this, and boom, here's your $800 bill. I'm sure there's more.
Sometimes,
methods.
Absolutely. It depends. It all depends on what is required, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure
we've had stuff before where we've sent stuff in, and they've literally had to pull the drive apart and manually, like, in a clean room with all kinds of shit, and they manually have to, like, go around, and, like, it's a whole thing. It's insane.
Yeah. So
and it costs,
and that's the thing. It's not physical
bucks.
damage though. Like, it's like not a laptop hard drive. It wasn't banged. It wasn't dropped or anything. So I'm praying that this works. So so I'm probably, even if it does work, I'm not going to use it long term. I'm going to pull everything off of it and just retire that drive, because I don't think I'll be able to trust it.
Probably fine. I mean, I definitely obviously have a backup of it.
I might be able to get away with using it still, and then just cloud back it up and ensure it's on, and then I won't have any problems after that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was my weekend, dealing with hard drives dying. Like, what the hell? Like, talk about...
Oh, we're not even going to talk about your NVMe fun.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So I saw this. So this is another reason why I didn't play games. So now I was like, my computer is like missing half the drives in it. So half of the games I have installed wouldn't work, and or apps and stuff are all over the place. I'm like, well, I can't really, my computer's working. Thankfully, Destiny is on my primary boot drive, so I can still play that.
Well, I mean, that's key, man.
So I'm like, I guess I'm going to take this opportunity to get an M2 drive, because I've wanted to get one for a really long time, and I just haven't because of all the work involved. So I got an M2 drive, 250 gig Western Digital black, and it was $115 at Amazon, so it wasn't a bad price. So I go slap it in my computer. I'm like, cool.
I've installed Windows on new hard drives before. This is gonna be no sweat.
I go into my BIOS, figure out how to enable it. It's showing up in Windows, and I'm like, sweet, okay. Boom, download the media creation tool for Windows 10. Make a bootable USB. I'm ready to go. First mistake was launching it from Windows.
Yeah.
I didn't realize when you did that, it just basically formats the existing C drive with no options of where to choose to install. So there was the first mistake.
It gives you a couple, to be totally clear, it gives you a couple options. You can wipe the drive that's already
it gives you stupid options.
Or actually, one
keep
key
your
thing,
files and do a clean install.
So the one cool thing that I will mention while we're talking about this. If you do have an ISO and you do launch it from within Windows, you do have the option to actually do an in-place wipe of your OS and reinstall of the operating system that doesn't essentially touch any of your files. Your computer will be exactly the same as it is right now. It's just that it reinstall exactly. So just
a clean install, not clean install.
No, it's a clean install. It's a repair install, and trust me, that has saved my ass on many an occasion in my line of work. But in your particular case, essentially useless because that's not what you want to do. You want to install new on a different drive, right?
I want to go nuclear. Yeah, I'm starting from scratch. Everything's gone. I'm formatting these 2 hard drives that still actually work. I don't care about any on the data on them because it's all just game installs. It was all Steam and Origin and crap, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't need any of that shit. We're starting from scratch. Like, clean, new hard. This is new. Fresh start. Leave the past behind us.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, sweet.
Got rid of those ex-girlfriends.
Yeah. I'm like, I got to boot into this thing. So I boot into it. Where the fuck's this drive? I can see it. But Windows is like, no, you can't install this. I'm like, why can't I fucking install this? It's right fucking there. It would let me format it. It would let me partition it. It would let me do all kinds of shit to it. Slap it upside the head. But it wouldn't let me install Windows 10. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. So I'm going through this a bunch of times. I probably installed Windows like 3 times over on the original drive. I'm like, God damn it. And then it's like, that's when I started texting you. And thankfully, you found that link, that forum reply or wherever that was. Yeah. That info of turn this off, change this, and lo and behold. And I didn't disconnect the drives.
Those NVMe M.2 drives, while they're amazing, and I love mine, because they're fast as hell.
Specific setup procedure.
They're very specific. Like, you have to have no other drives connected. You have to make sure these specific options are in the BIOS.
You have to turn off UEFI.
In your case, you had to update the BIOS.
That's key. Yeah. Let's just wait. We haven't gotten that part yet. So I did the first step, disabled all that shit, did all that crap, and it's like, I still couldn't install to it. Right. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it's like, oh, I got to update my BIOS. So a little in-between break there, update the BIOS. Oh, sweet. Now I can see it as a boot drive in my BIOS. Yeah. And I just turned off the other drives. I didn't disconnect them because at this point, I'm like, I'm not going back in my fucking case. I'm not wrecking anything. Everything's working. I don't want to fucking touch anything. And I finally got it installed, but that took way too goddamn long. But thankfully, you sent me that link was what I needed to do. And after that, it worked perfect.
It's the same link that I'd found back when I was installing my
first... When you were doing yours?
Even before that, when I was installing a client's machine with an NVMe drive for the first time, and I was just like, what the fuck? Why can't it just fucking install?
That's the thing. It's gotten so easy. We forget the days of old when we had to jump through hoops and pray and, do 3 turns, knock on wood, do a backflip, pray to the almighty PC master race god.
And the brutal thing is it's easy to add an NVMe drive into the board afterwards and use it like a hard drive. It's only if you want to boot from it that it's a pain in the ass. Once you get it all set up and you re-enable the UEFI and you can, let your other hard drives all back in and everything works great. It's just that initial I want to boot only from this drive, and you got to be very specific. So,
yeah, well, I noticed a difference. So it boots fast, it plays, loads fast. It's a nice drive. I'm pretty happy I got it. So
I love mine. It's great. So
hopefully within a week or two, I'll have all my drives replaced and everything back to normal. And I guess out the other end, I came out ahead with an M2 drive, but man, I was screaming and yelling because the second your PC doesn't boot up when you hit the power button, it's quite concerning. It's not a fun feeling. It's like, oh, rad. Like, is my computer dead? Like,
if I walk into my office and my computer's not on, there's definitely that first like, oh, what the fuck? Why are you off? And then if I hit the button, it's supposed to like power on and do stuff, and if it doesn't, then it's like, I deal with this shit all day at work. Why do I have to deal with this at home?
It's just, I look at it as the expense. I'm like, I don't really want to buy a new video card and motherboard and RAM and hardware and everything else.
Oh, don't I know?
Not that I would have to do that, but it's like, there's always the horror stories of people losing everything on their computer, right?
Yep.
I've never had that happen.
No.
Knock on wood. My desk is made of wood, so yeah, that was my weekend. So I did last few days dealing with RMAs and ridiculous customer support.
Yeah, dude, that's rough.
Yeah, I think with the PlayStation 4, I think I'm just screwed because I'm not sending it in. But like I said, I got a more nefarious plan on how to replace that hard drive. But
we won't talk about it here.
No, we don't want that recorded. Don't need that evidence. One way or another, I will be getting a new 2 terabyte hard drive. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about it.
With that being said, Dane, I guess we can get in some what you're playing if you guys are still here, half an hour in on my tangent. Thank you.
Hey, like I said, it's been a while since we had a Rico's rant.
We've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Holy shit, have I ever.
Yeah, and you're way farther than I am.
I'm about 20 hours in now.
Yeah, you're clearly like double, if not 3 times, played as much more. I was planning to play a lot more, but like I said, my PS4 blew up, and then my computer blew up, and I was dealing with fixing that. So
yeah, no, I can. Man, I don't even know where to begin with that game. It's fucking huge. Like, I know I've said that about a few games as of late, but like, this game is twice the size that Origins was.
Do you think so?
No, I know so. I was reading through our review toolkit, and I feel like I can't remember if they said it.
They sent like a novel with this thing.
Yeah. No, seriously, like the world is twice the size of the Origins world. It's a big ass game.
Okay. Some backstory before you go on.
Yes.
For those who aren't aware, this takes place before Origins.
It does.
Ancient Greece, Spartan descendants.
During the Peloponnesian War.
Yes.
Which is the war between like Sparta and Athens.
And you get the choice, which is different than any other Assassin's Creed, between Alexios and his sister Cassandra. Yeah. And you only play as one. It's not like Syndicate where you can switch back and forth between Evie and her brother.
And it's pretty interesting because depending on who you choose will have some pretty interesting story implications down the road.
I chose Cassandra.
So did I.
I heard that the voice acting wasn't so great on Alexios, and I played as Alexios at E3. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't in love with him in the hour that I played, so that was another reason why I chose her.
Cassandra's rad.
Yeah, I do.
I'm loving playing as her. She's awesome.
So I assume they're both mercenaries. Yes. I think it's the exact same story. You either get the guy or the girl, right? Like they're going through the same quests and story beats. Just obviously there's different twists and turns for each character, but
from what I can tell and what I've been to my understanding is that you're not wrong. It's the story is identical depending on who you choose, but I'm not gonna obviously give any spoilers or anything away, but they do an interesting thing, and when you get there you'll know what I'm talking about, based on who you choose. which is cool, which is really
I
neat.
assume they clearly meet up at some point. It's going to be obvious.
So, it's interesting. Like,
and you're a mercenary.
Yes, you are.
You're not an assassin. You're not a soldier in the army. You guys are mercenaries. Yeah,
you play as a mercenary. You play as a... There's some stuff that goes on in your childhood, and yeah, it's... I mean, I don't want to get into any spoilers because I know the game just came out. The world is freaking massive. There's a bit more of the ship combat stuff.
They've totally built that out in this one.
Yeah, like you actually end up with like a ship, and there's like a whole nother like aspect of the game where you can,
the ship missions and Origins were quite like lackluster. They really didn't have any depth to them.
They were almost like side missions.
They were like
a little side story thing that would happen in Origins. This is a lot closer. It's not nearly to the extent that it was in 4, but it's definitely closer to that. But I feel like better in a lot of ways still.
I heard I heard it says deep, if not deeper than 4, and there's a lot of customization and stuff.
That's the thing. Like in this, you can customize.
I haven't got
your
far
ship
enough to see the full.
You can customize your ship. You can customize. There's a whole lieutenant system, so that you can actually like throughout the world, you can actually recruit lieutenants, and you can they'll come aboard your ship, and they once you've fully upgrade, I think you can have up to 4 lieutenants.
I don't remember doing that in Black Flag.
So like there's a couple that I've accidentally and just like they brought back the whole armor and weapon
RPG leveling system.
Yeah, there's like standard, rare, epic, and legendary, and they did a similar thing with the lieutenants that you can recruit for your ship as well. There's actually like legendary lieutenants that you can get. And they have different buffs that they give you. The whole weapon system from Origins more or less comes back, but they've added a whole nother inscription aspect to it. So generally speaking,
I haven't played with that yet. I saw it in the blacksmith, and I'm like, I don't want to invest in any of this low level shit yet.
You can do it. That's the cool thing about the inscriptions is that when you unlock them, you can use them on every weapon moving forward. So they're not a one use and they go away. So like as you learn inscriptions, those stay with you for the rest of the game.
Because those give you like damage boosts, right? And
some of them give you damage boosts. Like, so for example, like one of them will give you a 2% increase to assassin's damage, or one will give you 4% increase to warrior damage, or one will give you 20% damage with headshots or from a bow, or one will give you there's all these different there's all kinds of different stats that they add.
So there's 3 trees.
Yeah,
it's assassin, warrior, and hunter.
Yeah.
And those are obviously, your ranged combat, your melee, and your stealth assassination combat moves, or finishers, or assassinations.
Yeah. So these like add an extra little something. They're generally cheap. So you're pretty much like, that's the one thing I will recommend. Like I went through a bunch of the game not really doing anything with them, but you may as well, because you have nothing to lose. You lose you lose a little bit of money and a little bit of resources, but you gain the benefit. So you may as well. And it's not like you're going to use up those engravings. And as you go around the game and you do things, you're going to find more engravings. Like as you level up, you're going to get some. As you do some side quests, you're going to get some. You remember the papyrus puzzles that there were in Origins?
Yeah.
Where you'd find the little puzzle and it would say, like, I'm under a rock in this region around here.
Yeah. Like
or dive into this pool.
The ones that you actually have to do environmental puzzles figuring out. They're like scavenger hunts.
Yeah, so those come back as like tablets
those are the
that you
tablets.
find.
Yeah, I found a couple of them, and I tried looking for one because it was referencing somewhere on that starting island, and I'm like, God damn it, I can't find this freaking place.
There's a couple on the starting island. I got them both.
Oh, look at me.
Ooh, yeah. Those give you various forms of like inscriptions that you can add to weapons and armor and stuff. So some of those ones are really great. So it's kind of one of those things. It's another side thing to do. God, like this game is so fucking big.
There's a lot of stuff. I was going to say, bring up the combat. Compared to Origins, it seems a little faster. You have no shield.
Yeah, you don't have a shield, which for most of it, I don't mind.
No, they really want you to parry and evade.
Yes.
And the parry is very forgiving.
That being said, you're not quite there yet, but there is a battle mechanic in the game that's a little bit like Shadow of War, where like certain areas of the map are owned by either Sparta or Athens. And as you go through the game, you'll have an opportunity to do things to bring down the influence of whoever the governing body is of that region.
Yeah, that's the conquest stuff. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, and once you get them to a certain point, there will unlock either a defense or an attack option, and you can decide if you want to be on the side of the attackers or the side of the defenders.
In a battle between the two sides.
Except that you're in that battle.
Yeah, you're in the battle, of course. Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, when you've got 10 guys or like hundreds of guys on a battlefield and you're trying to attack and do your thing, like having a shield would be real fucking handy. So those are really the only time where I've like wished I had a shield in that game.
I didn't see it, but like a lot of people had backlash because of Origins, because Bayek had a shield, and they're like, "You're an assassin, you don't have a shield." And it's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true, but it's like, the shield was nice, but it did really slow down the combat, and it did really feel like Dark Souls combat in Origins.
Yeah, this is definitely, like you said, there's a parry move, there's a dodge move.
I found the parry to be very forgiving. I thought you had to time it with when they swing. The enemy has a huge tell when they attack, and you can parry.
You can actually hold the parry for a moment.
Say, you could literally be holding it before that even happens, and you'll parry them.
Yeah, so that like there's a little window. If you hold the parry for too long,
you can't hold it consistently. No. Yeah, exactly. But you can hold it for like a good.
It's like 2 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she'll stop.
And at that point, if you missed it, you just fall into an evade. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. So the thing is like that combat works awesome when you're fighting like one or two enemies. But where that kind of gets a little bit frustrating is, like I said, in those giant battles when you're trying to fight a elite or a captain of the guard, and there's like 3 or 4 other enemies all attacking you at the same time. That's where that's a little bit like, fuck, dude, I'm trying to fucking kill that guy. Like,
I assume with building up the warrior tree, that would probably feel not as annoying. There's probably a lot of abilities that help with that, because I've seen some abilities that
there are definitely
stun,
some
like do like a crowd stun and so forth,
and that definitely helps. It does.
That's another thing that's different with this game is you have abilities on cooldown for like both your hunter, like for your ranged attacks, and your melee attacks. So holding down L1 or left bumper on Xbox and any of the face buttons, you can map particular like abilities too. So of course I got the Spartan kick I've unlocked, which
it's helpful.
Does some damage and knocks the enemy down, and basically run up to him and start stabbing him on the ground.
Yep.
And then there's a bull rush. There's a bunch, and you can change them depending on your play style, which is kind of cool. And the other cool thing is you can. I don't think I've unlocked it yet because I don't think I'm far enough. But apparently you can respec it anytime. You just have to pay gold.
Yes, you can. So yeah, it's like, so those are the only, like I said, it works really well. I do. The one thing that they did change as well is, unlike Origins, you remember where you could get the bow, and when you'd get a legendary bow, and when you attack a guy, you'd get health back.
Yes.
There's a lot less stuff like that in this game. Like that you can't kind of cheese it like that quite as much.
At the end of Odyssey, you could totally cheese like the
Yeah,
legendary bosses and stuff.
Yeah, and I was able to like take on the 2 war elephants by using a similar solution.
Using a bow and healing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So in this, there isn't really that. There is an option that you can get.
There's a heal ability. I almost bought it, but I'm going to buy it later.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you can only use it once in combat or not, though. That's the only thing, because I haven't purchased it yet. I'm not sure.
I'm sure there's multiple levels, because most of the abilities have multiple levels.
Yeah, a lot of them have 3 levels.
It starts out at 25% heal during combat. I'm really liking the game. Obviously, we both really liked Origins.
I fucking loved
like
Origins.
Cassandra. I think Cassandra's awesome. She's a badass.
I think so far my one niggle with this game, and I haven't fully decided on it, but I suspect, like, judging by what I've played and how I play, the one thing that is going to bother me about this game is in Origins, the areas were spec'd to a certain level. So, like, this area was level
so you could
9 through 13
and just steamroll everyone.
You could, or you could like get totally steamrolled in an area too,
if you weren't supposed to be there. Yeah.
In this, what I'm finding is certain levels, like the first couple starting areas, are pretty much capped at a certain level. But then every area so far that I've been in, if you're, if I hit the cap on that area, like the one area that I was in was like a cap of 13, I think. And then I hit 14 and everything more or less like jumped. And when I left that area and I came back, everything was then like level 14. And the mission guys, all the mission stuff jumped to 14 and so on and so forth. And like, like the way that I like played, it was nice to sometimes be able to come in like, like you said, you'd come in and feel like a total badass, right?
God.
Yeah. Whereas like that,
which
definitely
doesn't make sense because
no, it doesn't.
It's very video gamey. So
totally. I liked that. Whereas like I said, so the option for that in Origins, they brought an option like after the game was released where you could turn that off and everything would scale up and down with you, so that the areas were always.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a post-launch patch that they released.
In Origins, that's the thing with the Origins I didn't like, was because when I was at the end and having to get to a higher level, I had to go grind out inconsequential quests, which didn't give out a lot of experience. So it's like, this is annoying.
That might see. That's the thing, though, is that this stuff doesn't scale down; it only scales up, right? Yeah. So, like, you're level 50 going back to these areas. So you could be doing
a quest at the start at level 50, and it still earns you good experience, though.
Yeah, the experience stuff definitely scales, which is nice.
I say that's a plus.
It's like I said, it's like the thing is like, yeah, like if you were having a difficult time with something in Origins, you could level up a couple and come back to it or something.
Yeah.
You can't do that in this.
No. This one's more like get good.
Yeah. So far there has been one or two things
maybe
that have kept their level. There was there was a particular battle that I definitely like fought multiple times and I was like, fuck, I'm going to come back later when I'm stronger or something, and that particular one did stay. So I don't know, like I said, there's not everything scales. Like there does seem to be a few things that stick to a particular level, and I'm not sure. I obviously I'm going to play more and figure out kind of what that is. But yeah, that's, like I said, that's kind of my only, not even a complaint necessarily. It's just the one thing that I've found that I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I dislike it or like it yet. I'm like,
I'm fine with it. But I'm kind of on the fence. It takes away the gaminess of it. It's not, because that's what I did in Origins. I got super powerful. Then I went back and killed all the Falaki guys.
Oh, I think everybody did. So speaking of the mercenaries,
there's the whole bounty hunter system.
There's a whole bounty hunter system in this game where
Nemesis system, Nemesis Light,
kind of, yeah, where you start at tier 9, you're a tier 9 mercenary, and as you progress and you kill other mercenaries, you slowly move forward. So, like, I'm almost at a tier 7 now. Like, I'm almost through the tier 8s.
Mm-hmm. I just killed the first guy that I actually give you a quest for.
Gotcha.
I destroyed him.
And that's the other thing I will say. I feel like the Phylactes in Origins
were a lot stronger.
Were tougher enemies, even when they were the same level. Like, they were challenging.
Oh, yeah. You had to be higher than them. You couldn't take them on at the same level.
Whereas
I wrecked this guy at the same level.
Like, I wrecked a guy that was, like, 2 levels ahead of me. Like,
that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen in Origins.
And to be fair, it was a long battle. Like, it was hard. It was not easy, but I did manage to make it happen.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to attempt to do that in Origins.
No, but that being said, like, I was in a situation where I had killed everybody in the fort. Yeah. And then he showed up, and I was like, well,
it's 1-on-1.
I'll give it a shot. If anybody in the fort would have still been alive, there was no way I would have tried it, because then I would have had all of them coming after me as well.
Yeah.
But that being said, generally, if they're about the same level as you, it's gonna be a challenge, but it's not nearly the challenge that the Phylactes were in Origins.
I feel like the ability or the skill tree and so forth, they definitely, you have to build into what you want to play. Because, like, the bow, like, I feel like in Origins with the bow, it was immediately, like, powerful and good. You can't one-shot guys with the bow in this. You have to upgrade it.
You got to hit them in the head, and
even if you hit them in the head,
depending on whether or not they have a helmet on, matters huge.
I don't have a good bow for starters, which probably doesn't help. But it's like, I can't one-shot a guy even in the head.
Yeah, so, depending on where, like,
I bought the ability that makes the bow damage super high when you fully pull it, so I'm pretty sure that's going to change it.
That'll help. Also,
so
depending on,
really makes some consequence into what skills you buy, which is,
it's not just skills though. It's hugely dependent on the armor you're wearing,
abilities, and
because the armor that you're wearing and stuff can change. Like, some of it will have massive types. Exactly. Like, some of the armor is automatically like 2% or 5%. Exactly. Some of it's plus warrior damage. Some of it's plus assassin. So you can really kind of spec, like, oh, okay, well, I need more assassin damage.
I appreciate that, because I don't feel like that was really a consideration in Origins at all. Like, you didn't really think about how you were building it all. It's just like, oh, I just want to unlock this because this will be cool if I can do this now.
I want legendary armor. Woo!
Yeah. So I'm really liking it. I can tell it's already...
It's awesome.
It's a great game.
I'm absolutely loving it.
I wish I had more time, that I got to play more, but obviously there was reasons.
There's a whole nother aspect that I'm actually not going to say anything about that comes up later as part of what happens in the game, that also adds a whole nother aspect to the game. And I was like, oh shit, now the game is starting. That is one thing I will say about this game. Like, as somebody who played Origins, like, I felt very at home at the beginning of the game. But this game, I feel like, has a very long, very large intro. Like, probably you don't really see the whole game till about 15 hours in. Mm-hmm. And at that point, that's where they've finally given all of the systems, everything is like, okay, here's the whole game.
This isn't the game gets good at 15 hours. The game is immediately good.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the game...
it continues to layer on stuff. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you're like, oh, I wonder how that's going to work. And then it's like, boom, here's your boat. Oh, by the way, there's a whole ship system. You can upgrade your ship. You can get different sailors. You can get lieutenants. Like, all of that, and you're like, oh wow, that's kind of crazy. And then a little while after that, they're like, oh, by the way, here's the whole conquest system. Every map in the game that you look at, you can technically either help conquer or help defend, and like, there's that whole aspect, and you're like, holy shit, like, I could spend a lot of time doing this. So yeah, it's incredibly large. It is by far and away, I don't know if it's bigger than The Witcher 3 or not, but it might be. It is one of the biggest video games I've ever played. It's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like the amount of time that I have spent playing the game already and the amount of the map that I have been to is like fucking nothing. It's kind of gross. Like I have, like, honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've hit like 6 of the little areas, and a couple of those were just because I was being curious.
Yeah.
Like it's a
Origins
game.
was no slouch. It was huge too.
Yeah, this makes Origins feel like homey.
I will say I do
Cozy.
like the cutscenes and the animation in the cutscenes and the character models. I feel like look a lot better in this than they do in Origins.
The other thing too that they brought in is the system where you
dialogue.
actually start. Yeah, there's dialogue trees now, and you can actually make decisions. Some of which actually
we didn't talk
make
about,
real changes.
And the exploration mode. There's 2 different ways to play the game. There's that exploration mode, and then there's the normal mode, which basically shows you all the waypoints go from A to B to C to D until you beat the game.
Yeah.
And exploration mode doesn't spell out exactly where your next objective is, unless you've learned it through conversation or exploration. In that instance, of course she knows where the bay is because you've already unlocked it on the map and you've been there. So in that case, the indicator would show up. But if it was an area you've never been to or never had a conversation with a character in game about it, you actually have to explore and figure out which way to go by directional hints and through conversation. Oh, he's at the the south foot of the mountain. That's where you'll find him.
He's if you head west from this particular mountain, but south of this particular bay, that's roughly kind of whereabouts this thing is. Mm-hmm. So you like pull up your map and go like, okay,
I guess I got to look around this area.
I got to go over here.
And your eagle will usually prompt up and say, hey, that your thing is in distance, and then you can find it with your eagle view.
Right.
But it's kind of neat. And like I said, if you had inadvertently discovered that area already, she would know, and then an indicator would show up in that case, and you wouldn't have to go hunt for it because you had been there before. So
yeah,
it's kind of neat.
I like
it's a fun way to play.
I feel like if you're playing it, definitely give that a try.
Yeah,
I feel like that would
be the more rewarding way, and I feel like you'll see more of this, and pay attention to more of the landmarks in the world, and it's beautiful. Like the graphics are fantastic. Like it looks awesome. It's also definitely a little more colorful than Origins.
It's less overwhelming that way too, because you're not just seeing everything. Like as soon as you
that's true.
You're not seeing absolutely everything that's in an area, which is kind of nice. Because this game, like straight up, it can be a little overwhelming at times, and you're like, "Holy shit, I got to go from there to there," and like, so yeah.
And there's consequences to this stuff. Like I got just an example in one of the early missions. The guy's like, "Don't get seen." I got seen because I screwed up, and then as a result, when I went back to go turn in a quest. They were getting attacked by the people that I just stole from.
Noob.
And had I not gotten seen, I assume that wouldn't have happened. And then there's and you can even
somebody
steal.
who didn't get seen, I can tell you that that's exactly what would have happened. That you wouldn't have been getting attacked because I didn't get seen.
Yeah, I got seen because I got hung up on a stupid doorway.
That is okay. That is one thing I will say. This game does feel a little less polished than Origins did.
Like just in terms of getting stuck on the environment or geometry and stuff, glitches.
Just so like a little like I haven't had any like game breaking or anything like that's been like, oh my god, this game's so buggy. Nothing like that. It's just like there's been a few like little things here and there. Like you see that there's something to loot, and you run up to it and you go to loot it, but like you're not quite in that sweet spot. Little things like that where you're just like maybe they could have worked on that just a little bit, but like overall incredibly impressed for like the size of the world and like how big of a game this is. That like it's incredibly well put together, but just that tiny bit of like little things here and there that you kind of come across and you're like, oh, that's kind of strange. But yeah, it's If you liked Origins, I feel like this is
if you like
an
Assassin's
awesome...
Creed period, you'll like this one. Of course.
8.5
or 9 out of 10.
So far,
That's
so
my
far,
feelings right now.
Well, I'll definitely play some more.
It's a solid entry in the system, and I want to play more.
I feel like you could easily drop 100 hours into this game, no problem.
I really like Cassandra. She's kind of hot too. She's
awesome. Oh, I do also want to point out that you can sleep with a lot of different people in the game.
Sweet.
So if that's, what you're into.
Can I sleep with Cassandra?
Cassandra could sleep with other ladies if you want.
No, but can I sleep with her?
No.
Damn it.
So
Odyssey's good. Go play it.
Yeah.
I also played Valkyria Chronicles 4. I think I mentioned that I had it last week.
Yeah, you'd gotten it but hadn't had a chance to play it.
I got it on Switch. I got it physical. God damn it. I broke the streak of going all digital.
Why didn't you get it digitally?
And Mega Man 11 I got physical too. God damn it.
Why?
Because I got the collector's editions of both these stupid games.
Jeez, you're such a...
I know, I'm a freaking noob. I don't know why I did this, but anyway. I really like the cool tank from Valkyria Chronicles. I like the series. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get the collector's edition. But they only come physical. They don't do get the physical goodies and a code in the box, which I would have preferred, but whatever. So I actually have 2 Switch games now.
Wow.
Which is kind of funny, but...
It's one more than I have.
Little cartridges.
They also taste and it's disgusting. Don't lick them. They're gross.
Right. I also got a 200 gig SD card for my Switch. I'm an idiot.
Hey,
but yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 4. It is a turn-based, semi-real-time strategy game. It really reminds me of Fire Emblem, but it's like fictional World War II-ish era. Tanks, mortars. Basically, you have a group of units that you select before a level, equip. They have different abilities, different classes.
Wait, hold on. I'm still stuck on the turn-based semi-real-time.
Because you actually move your units in third person.
During your turn?
Yeah, during your turn.
Okay.
So the map will be shown from a top down.
Okay.
And you'll see the units on it, your units and the enemy's units, when they're in view, of course. If they're not in view of any of your characters, you won't see their little icons on the map.
Okay.
And basically, you select one of your units, and they have AP, is a little meter that goes down as you move your unit. So you can run around objects, vault over objects, hide behind cover and whatnot. But you basically can move so far as much as your meter will allow you to go before it drains out. And if it drains out, if you're in the open, you're just in the open with no bonus to cover, or you'll take 100% damage.
Right,
it's risky, right?
So you kind of want
to leapfrog around the map. From cover to cover.
Kind of like you would in real life then.
Yeah.
Okay.
From cover to cover. You go into first person aiming for shooting. You have percentages for, depending if your enemy's behind something or if he's in the open or what kind of class you're using. Like if you're using a sniper or if you're using a shock trooper, they have different weapons. You can do heals. You can equip them with all kinds of different stuff as well. You got tanks. Tanks work a little different. And you could essentially, depending how you build your squad, you'll have, are they command units or commander units? I can't remember the exact term. Certain units will give you an extra turn per round.
Sweet.
So if you stack your unit with these, really higher up units, you'll have more turns. As opposed to say you're 3 turns, you'll have 6.
Ooh.
And you can spend all your turn. Well, you can't spend them all. You can spend a couple turns on one unit if you want to make them go from, keep going across the map. They do get tired.
Right.
I can't really explain how that system works too well because I'm not too used to it.
There's
a reload period, so they might not be able to attack again if you immediately use them. So, you can't just take your tank, drive to the end, and waste all 6 turns on your tank shooting everybody.
Right. Because that would be kind of cheap.
Yeah, there is kind of a reload period. I really like it. It's super anime as fuck. Like, it's really bad. There's already been like a couple pervy moments that are like,
All right.
The characters are cool. It's all voice acted. But it's cringy anime. Like, if you don't like anime, you might
Probably
just
not.
hate this. You might hate this game just because of that. Like, dude, it's super anime. You can get the Japanese voice pack if you want. It's a free download. I haven't done that. I'm not that crazy.
Oh, fair enough.
But
fair enough.
It's a fun game. There's a lot of depth. There's a camp. You're a camp where you can upgrade and build, unlock, research weapons, stuff for your tank, new weapons for your squad. There's a whole like capture base mechanics. Like all the maps have different requirements to win. Like defeat all the enemies, capture their base, take out the turrets or the mortars or whatever. It's a cool game, man. If you like these types of games like Fire Emblem or Advance Wars, I would say this is like an evolution of those types of games, because obviously the third person and first person combat. I hear it can get pretty cheap. I haven't gotten that far. The PC can be pretty bad, but I'm pretty happy I got it. I was like on the fence, just because time wise, but like this, when I can play the Switch is like when I'm not at home, so it's great for that. And it's because it's turn based, it lends itself so well to like sleep and suspend mode on the Switch, and it looks great on the Switch. I haven't even played it on my TV. It plays fine. I heard there was some slowdown, but I haven't seen that, and I think that obviously varies depending on what types of units and where you are, right?
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
At first, I was like, I get on PS4, but but then I'll never play it on PS4.
Right, because you got all these other things on PS4.
This totally scratches and satisfies like my Fire Emblem itch, like for that turn-based kind of combat game. And
That's awesome.
It's just like Fire Emblem. It's waifus and like total anime. So, like
Sounds good.
Like I'm already in love with like the sniper chick. She's awesome.
I won't tell your wife.
And she's got a funny hat that has like little ears on the hat for no reason, but they make her look like a cat girl. But she's not a cat girl. There's no point for these little triangles on her hat to be pointing up, except for to give her the appearance of that like she's a cat girl. But she's not.
Right.
It's just a weird hat.
But she is.
Yes.
Perfect.
And I got Mega Man 11. I got Mega Man 11. The Amiibo edition, which was a GameStop EB exclusive, so I had to get that. I had to get that physical for the
Amiibo.
For the Amiibo, the expensive ass Amiibo. It's a nice Amiibo. Fail packaging though. The packaging's terrible. It's just on a plain white card. Like they didn't even spend the time to make it like have like a proper Amiibo like packaging.
Because they're like, fucking idiots are going to buy this regardless because it's a fucking Amiibo.
This is true. Very true. It's also a 30th, and it's also like in celebration of Mega Man's 30th anniversary, right? So I kind of felt obliged to buy it. It's got like a cool little base with the little 30th anniversary logo on it.
You're such a sucker.
I am a sucker. I love Mega Man 2. I had played, the first 5 or 6 earlier in the year. I meant to go back and play the other ones, but it was like, I'm good.
Fair enough.
I like the demo. It seems to be the main complaint is it's a Mega Man game. So, but it's gotten decent reviews.
I think that probably has to do with like how much of a nostalgia you have.
Yeah.
For those original games.
Like it doesn't do anything.
You know what I mean?
It does introduce the gear system, which is like not like crazy, like slowing down time or powering up your attacks. Right. Which is like, I don't know, like what do you want to do? Like you don't want to wreck the Mega Man mechanic because that's why people like Mega Man, right? So
yeah, that's fair.
Like it's a tricky thing to balance. So I just got it. So besides the Brickman stage, which I assume is the same in the full game, that's all I've played.
Oh, well, that's fair. You have been able to jump into some Forza Horizon.
I did play some Forza Horizon. Like I said, did I say last week?
Because that's on a console that didn't have a hard drive die.
Yeah, that's on a piece of hardware that didn't have a hard drive die on me this weekend. So I did play a bunch more there. I've gotten into the fall autumn season.
Very nice.
I think I'm still like in the intro-ish. I don't know how they do it because I don't. My Xbox Live is also expired, which I just renewed today. I just bought 12 months on Costco, so I'll have to see how the real world stuff like impacts that game, because literally I've been essentially playing it single player with like just fake drivatars.
Oh, okay.
So, I have the first showcase unlocked. I haven't done it because I'm kind of like, ooh, I gotta go do this and I gotta do that and I gotta do that. So I've been working on that. I do have some complaints though.
Oh, interesting.
That I didn't bring up last week. I hate the freaking human avatars in the game. They're so ugly and they're so stupid. There is no goddamn point in having them. I guess they're in cutscenes and story like build up. Like, hey man,
I was gonna say, you liked it better when the games with the car would roll up beside you and there was just nobody in it.
Pretty much, like these avatars. Like, obviously you need to download the game because it's on Game Pass, so you have no excuse to play it.
I've been waiting for an opportunity where I can jump on it. So
just make sure you install it, like download it.
Yeah.
But the human avatars are ugly as sin. And there's not that many. Like, there's none that look like me. There's Surfer Dude and Dark Guy. Like, okay, there's like nothing in between. It just looks, I don't know. They look terrible. And the only reason they're in there is to fuck up the wheel spins and to screw up the economy, the loot box mechanics of the game. Because instead of just getting cars and credits when you spin the wheel, you get shitty pink hats or dumb like emotes that are totally pointless. So they've put shirts, pants, shoes, crappy hats, all this garbage for your shitty, ugly looking avatars. So that you don't get any. I've won one car out of like 10 wheel spins, but I got a pink fucking cowboy hat for my ugly ass fucking avatar.
You tell me you're rolling with that pink cowboy hat.
No, I want to hack the game files and remove my avatar because they look fucking stupid.
Interesting.
They're just
I look
dumb.
forward
like,
to downloading it and playing it because I'm really curious now.
It just shows them standing there doing the dab or some stupid dance, and like I said, all it is to add like 5 levels of loot drops to basically rip you off from getting cars and credits and breaking the economy so that like, I want wheel spins. I didn't get anything good, so I'm going to go spend money. But then what are you going to spend money on? Stupid effing hats?
Wait, I thought they weren't doing microtransactions in that game.
I'm pretty sure they have microtransactions
Or is this one of those infamous Forza things where they're not going to implement it at launch, but they're going to implement it like
I think it's in there.
3 months later.
I could be wrong, and I haven't looked into it because I don't buy that crap, but I'm pretty sure you can buy credits or buy wheel spins, one or the other.
Interesting.
Or buy, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I saw someone complaining about it. And to me, it seems like they added the humans just so that they could add 6 layers of garbage you don't freaking want, so that they don't have to give you what you actually want, so to make your odds even worse. But it's like, no, you're getting stuff. You're getting stuff for your avatar. It's like, I don't want stuff for my avatar. My avatar can die in a fire. It looks like he did because he's ugly as sin.
You got to remember that.
Like, you can't even like, if you're going to put them in, let me customize the face, the hair, and this and that. No, there's like 12 or 15 like preset guys and girls that you can choose it from, and that's it.
Oh.
And none of them look anything like me or any type of ethnic person. Like,
fair enough.
Freaking terrible.
All
but
right.
besides that, the cars and the racing and the Forza Horizon experience is awesome.
That's awesome.
So it is still a good game, but that's just so dumb. Take them out.
Fair enough. This has been your Forza Horizon 4 hot take by Rick.
But you have no excuse not to play this game.
I know.
If you got an Xbox, you can get Game Pass. You can get a 2-week free trial if you haven't already used that up. A month is like dirt cheap. Like, even if you want to just play it for a month, because it is Xbox's last exclusive for the year. You got a couple months. I wonder where you got those from.
I don't know.
Gave them to you.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I do have a couple months. I do want to jump into it and check it out. I honestly forgot playing as much Assassin's Creed Odyssey as I have been. It was one of those like I need another thing.
Yeah, well,
to put my
don't
time
put the
away,
code in
right?
until you're actually going to play it, right?
That's the thing,
you don't
right?
waste your time.
So I don't know. Maybe Monday.
Just download the demo for now.
Monday's a day off, so I might just download it and like play it on Monday because that's a holiday. So
I also played obviously some Destiny because I'm an idiot.
of course,
I'm
you
not
did.
an idiot. I love it. It's awesome. But
You have more thoughts or the same thoughts?
yeah, I was doing some old weapon cleanup because I had like run out of stuff to do. Vert and Trevor weren't on, so I didn't have anyone to play with.
Right.
And the clan that I'm in was they were
Hardcore.
well, no, they were raiding, and some of them were trying to do escalation protocol. Because apparently this week drops has a high chance of dropping this really sought after shotgun. It's apparently like one of the best shotguns in the game. As I have witnessed that in Crucible, I've been getting killed with it left, right, and center.
Yeah, it sounds like Crucible.
But you had to do escalation protocol. I never did escalation protocol in Warmind. So
I don't think I have either.
For those who don't know, it's a public event horde mode that you initiate by just going to these pillars. And what
Oh
happens.
shit! Yeah, I've done a bunch of that. Those are hard.
But yeah, it's really hard. When the game
I don't know
came
if
out,
I've ever actually gotten to
You've
the
probably
very,
never
very
beaten.
end of one.
no, there's 7 stages.
Whoa! I think I've gotten to 3.
It's really hard unless you were super powered up, and when that came out, likely you weren't. So there's a trick to doing it. Besides just doing it with your powered up fire team, you could like basically you basically got to find a random who invites your friends to join his fire team that's already in the instance, and then you invite people onto your team. So I went there just to do some quests because I want to get some other weapons from that area. I was like working on the Sleeper Simulant exotic quest line.
Okay.
And anyway, this guy messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, do you want to do EP?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I was waiting for my clan, but they're taking forever, so I'll come with you. He's like, "Okay, invite this guy." So I had a fire team of like these other dudes from another clan, and then the original guy who messaged me had his other 2 buddies. So we had a crew of 6.
Okay.
And these guys were like kitted out. Like one of the guys, he has the Wish Ender bow already, which is like you have to be like at least level 570 or 580 to attempt to get it.
Wow.
It's like the super exotic bow, which is anyway. These guys were freaking
Hardcore.
These guys were good. So it's a horde mode you initiate in the world, and anyone that's around can join in. But this is a way how you can kind of cheat to 6-man it. Right?
Okay.
You could essentially, I don't know how many people. I think you can have more people than that in a region.
Yeah, I think you can have like 12, can't you?
You can probably get up to 9, maybe even 12. I don't know. It might lock out more people when you kind of do this cheat. I don't know. So we had 2 full fire teams doing it. We melted everything. So how it works is it's waves, and you kill so many enemies, and this timer is going down, and after these bars fill up, and then a boss spawns. Kill the boss, new stage, new wave. 7 stages. 7th stage culminates in like a giant boss fight, really powerful. Like we were melting everything else. Because this is a level, you got to remember, 400 power level area now, right?
Right.
And we're all in the 500s. So we do like 120% damage, whereas they do 80% damage type thing towards us.
I believe the recommended power level on those is 380.
Yeah.
Because I was attempting them at 340 and getting my ass handed to me pretty hard.
You can't do enough DPS to beat the boss before the timer. Because when me and Teacup tried doing it, like we'd see guys running around and we'd jump in. And it's like, we're just not burning this boss down at all.
No,
like the timer's going to run out. So we never really got into the end game of Warmind. So anyway,
like I said, maybe the like third stage of it. I think I've seen so.
And it would have been luck of the draw of the guys in the area,
Totally.
right? So like there was some powerful guys there, then it would have been easy. They just drag you through. Essentially kind of like what these guys did. And people farm it because it's good for prime engram drops from beating the end boss. And then of course the boss has a loot table of Warmind specific weapons. And one being this really fancy powerful shotgun. Apparently the shotgun is pretty key in like one of the raid boss battles.
Oh, okay.
Because of a perk it has. It has a perk where it like significantly boosts your damage if you melee an enemy. So it's really good for killing ultras. Like you basically run up to an ultra, punch them, and then just unload on them with the shotgun with all this extra bonus damage, and it just melts them.
Oh, that's good.
So anyway, we ran it a bunch of times. It's like, oh, I got the shotgun. Oh, I got the shotgun. I got the shotgun. Everyone else was getting the shotgun. Here I am sitting.
You didn't get the shotgun.
Sad emote. I wasn't getting the shotgun. And these guys are like, oh man, it's like, okay, it's getting pretty late. It's like 11 or 12. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, oh, okay, one more time, and you guys, they all got it, right?
Right.
And they're like being kind and doing it a few more times for me. And it's okay, one more time, and then we can give up, guys. It's like, this is just, and of course, thankfully, I got it on that last run. Meanwhile, some of the guys got it like 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucky bastards.
So I got my 380 shotgun.
Woo.
Which I had to infuse up to 5.7, but it's amazing.
That's
and then,
awesome.
Of course, my new friends were like, one of them's like, oh, I got to do the Whisper quest. And I'm like, oh, man, I want to do that. And they're like, okay. They're like, you got to watch this video or like follow me.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, Whisper the Wind quest is it's a time-gated quest. Yeah. It's super hard. Basically, you can only do it on the weekends. On IO, a certain enemy spawns. You got to kill him, and it only happens when a certain public event happens. You kill him, and then a portal opens up, and then you get transported to another area. And it's a cool little like story mission. And basically, it's got a 20-minute timer. You got to get to the end and beat 3 bosses.
Wow!
But it's not just to get to the end. It's like a giant, like jumping traversal puzzle for like the first for 3/4 of it or 90% of it.
That sounds pretty much awful.
It is awful. So the first time buddy's showing us like, okay, get up here, go through here. I think like with a minute to spare, we get to the enemies at the end. It's like, okay,
wow.
Great. And that's just because we just didn't know where we're going. Second time, okay, I get through right away. Other guy gets through. Third guy keeps falling in the big room. Like basically you have to jump. You have to wall jump these little crevices and nooks and crannies up this big giant room, probably 20 stories high around the edges of this room, which is like a big, I don't know, it's like a big rectangle. And you're going up one side of the rectangle, progressively getting higher and higher and higher till you get to the other side of the room. And then you have to jump through around a corner and through this hole. And at any time you miss a jump, you fall all the way to the bottom, and you have to go all the way around.
That sounds awful.
It's not that bad. So one run, buddy can't seem to do it. One run, I can't seem to do it. And then finally, the last run, we all sail through it, and we fucking destroy it.
Oh, that's good.
So it didn't take too long. It took us an hour. It was like 3 runs. And it was awesome. And now I have the Whisper, the Worm sniper rifle, which is fucking amazing. It's one of these like, it's a sniper rifle, 3-shot sniper rifle with mulligan. If you miss a shot, there's a chance for the shot to go back into your magazine.
Right.
And the other perk is the white nail perk. If you nail all 3 of your shots, precision damage, your magazine just instantly refills.
Oh, nice.
With magic bullets. Like, it doesn't even take from your reserves.
Oh,
so
that's
if you're
awesome.
fighting a big boss with a big-ass melty point that's easy to precision hit, you can just sit there, like, unloading the DPS.
Oh, wow. That's
and it's
rad.
probably one of the coolest freaking looking guns in the game. I posted a photo on our Twitter.
I did see that.
But you have to work.
Oh, Rick, he's been playing Destiny again.
You have to. It's not impossible. I'll probably be able to take Trevor and Verlin through it if I ever get them online on a weekend.
Yeah. Give it a try.
It's fun. It's rewarding because it's like, this was challenging to do, and I earned this, as opposed to I just did all these steps in a quest. I actually had to earn this through like skillful playing, that's the cool reward in it. The shotgun was just grinding. Like that's RNG, but this is like, you're guaranteed this reward if you can beat this challenge. And that was kind of cool. And that's some of the best moments in Destiny. It's just like the raid. That's all the raid is, right? Master this memory of this exercise, jump through these hoops, and here's the cool reward at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. I really liked that. And that really reminded me of like Destiny 1. And now I have this awesome ass gun.
There you go, man.
Still loving the Forsaken, so
just ready to rock and roll there.
See, you played some Dauntless.
Yeah, I played a bunch of Dauntless.
Did you play on the weekend or on sick day?
Yeah, no, it was on Saturday night, I want to say.
Were you playing with anyone?
No, I just thought I'd we were talking about doing a games night at the office here one of these days. And we were trying to figure out what we were going to play. And I'd kind of mentioned like, oh, well, we have enough people that we could do 2 parties of 4 if you guys are interested in Dauntless. Like, it's free. It's kind of like a Monster Hunter Lite. Like, it might be a really good option. And so anyways, so I thought I'd at least jump in and kind of mess around, see like what, because a lot of those types of games tend to have a little bit of a tutorial at the beginning anyways. So I thought I'd jump in, and I kind of got hooked for a while. Yeah,
it's a cool game. It's Monster Hunter Lite.
Yeah, I played for a few hours. I think I'm on like the 5th or 6th armor set now.
Yeah, so you're taking down like 5 hunts or whatever.
Oh yeah, more than that, because you gotta
do a couple of them a couple times.
Yeah, I lucked out on most of mine and got almost the full set off of them. But the Chorizo, I want to say it was called. It's like, I don't know how far you got into it, but it's essentially like a fire lizard thing. Mm-hmm. That was I'm working on that armor set now.
We've gotten pretty far.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how far, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
so that's unlocked axes and the next weapons. So.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I haven't hit that yet, so I'm working on.
You're really close.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I think that game, I haven't played, a ton of it. I mean, I got a really good feel for it. It's a lot of fun. I feel like with more content, if they flesh out those worlds a little more, and I think obviously adding more hunts and so on and so forth, I think that game could really be something special. It's a lot of fun.
I don't know how well it's doing. I assume it's doing okay because it's.
It's an open beta, right?
It's been an open beta since the start of the year, I think.
June, actually. I didn't realize it was
June.
Yeah, so.
Oh, so not that long.
No,
the lobbies were well populated every time we played. Never had problems getting other players to join us.
No, I didn't have any issues there. I do know apparently there's a big update coming that's going to enable pistols or like a firearm type weapon in the game.
What I was going to ask you, what weapon type are you using?
I'm actually using the chain blades still.
Yeah, the chain blades are all right.
I've played. I find the hammer to be a little too slow for me.
I like the hammer.
I find I end up in situations where I'm getting my ass handed to me.
You'll get in trouble with the hammer if you're. Yeah. It's all about. You gotta plan your attacks, and otherwise it leaves you super open. But it does massive damage.
Yeah, no, and interrupts too. That's the other cool thing with the hammer is you can do the interrupts. So I've been using the chain blades predominantly. I also use the sword a little bit.
I like the sword too.
There's definitely it is. I will say it's definitely a beta. I I loaded into a hunt and my weapons didn't load.
Yeah, one of the guys in our party had that happen. Like, he had no hands, no weapons.
Yeah, I had no weapons. I couldn't dash either. So I essentially just stood around and watched while everybody else did the hunt, and I tried to like run in, and I was able to
couldn't
revive.
even do damage.
No, I couldn't do any damage at all.
That's funny.
Like when I tried to attack,
you ain't got no weapon, handyman. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, when I tried to attack, nothing would happen. So yeah, but hey, it's free. It's an open beta.
It's a cool game. We feel kind of bad because we started playing. Like Trevor got Forsaken, so we've been playing a lot of Destiny, and it's like we've kind of left Tim hanging there. It's like
it's fun though. I really like it. I'll definitely be playing more of it.
I hope.
Like I said, I'm really curious to see sort of like how it kind of opens up or grows a bit.
I guess it doesn't really matter if it finds like a giant, as long as it has a player base that's supporting it and they're paying the bills. I'm sure it's going to go on. Like, they're adding stuff, so they must be doing all right. They had a giant booth at PAX. Yeah, that ain't cheap.
Yeah, I didn't realize that half that team is here in Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I had no idea. Like, apparently they're located in Vancouver and San Francisco. So
wow.
Yeah. So that's cool. It's a really, really cool game. So if you're interested, it's Dauntless. You can just Google that. It's cool.
And I got codes for flares. I've been meaning to put them online. I got a stack of codes for flares. So if you're playing it and you're on the Discord, I'll give you a code. Just message me or post in one of the channels, and I'll make sure to hit you up with one. I will be giving them away online.
Sweet.
And then just, I guess, quickly, you had Black Flag down on the list here. You were doing some research.
So, the one night, obviously, like, my wife wanted to play some Diablo 3.
Oh, so your PS4 was in use.
So my PS4 was in use, and I still wanted to play some Odyssey. And I was like, well, you know what? Why don't I... That was actually the night I started playing Dauntless, because I was waiting for Assassin's Creed Black Flag to install. So while I was waiting for that to install, I was playing Dauntless.
I'll try this.
Exactly.
That was on your Xbox or PC?
PC. Because I've got Black Flag on like everything.
Yeah, as do I.
I don't know if I can play that game now.
Is it graphics or just controls or everything?
Graphics look surprisingly good. Like, obviously not Origins and Odyssey
stand up better on the PC version than the console ones for sure.
Oh yeah, everything's maxed. It looks great. Runs great. It's quite beautiful. Even like controls initially threw me a bit. The whole holding down the button to run and stuff versus just being able to run in Odyssey is so nice. I don't have to hold anything down. I'm
so used to holding a button down that I feel it's weird, and I'm like, where's the run button? Every time. I do it every time.
But the character's just always running in Odyssey. I love it. I don't have to worry about that shit.
I know, but
it's great.
I've played 10
That's
other
fair.
where you had to hold down a button.
Yeah. So that was like initially a little bit of a, I don't know how this is going to work for me, but I got used to that. That didn't bother me. The first section where you're learning the combat again and like you're sneaking out and like that all even worked. I didn't even mind the combat. It was a little, like different, but it works. There's the system and you can very easily parry and attack and stuff like all that.
And parrying in the old games, it's all you'd ever do. You get into a crowd and you'd parry and counter and kill.
Exactly.
A whole crew of guys. Like that's all I would ever do in the old ones.
So all that was great. That all went very well. Then I got to the first city when you roll into Havana, and that's kind of where things started to fall apart for me. Like that opening scene starts off with a chase quest, which I fucking hate in Assassin's Creed games to begin with.
Chase down this guy.
Yep. Some dude runs up and pickpockets the character you're with, and you gotta so suddenly off you go. You gotta chase after this character. I hated those in like 2. I like this was just that instant reminder, like, this sucks. I don't like these. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's fine. We'll keep going. It'll be fine. And then that initial bit in that game, you end up in a bar fight, and then essentially the cops show up and they start chasing you. And you're trying to get outside of a zone and then lose the cops. And again, this is something I no longer deal with in Origins or Odyssey.
That's true. That's right. The old games had like a star system where they would hunt you down relentlessly.
And like at one point, I must have had 40 guys chasing me, and I'm like trying to get far enough away.
I totally forgot about that.
Trying to get far enough away so that I can dive into a fucking haystack or
that's right.
Hide somewhere.
That was such an annoying system.
And it's like, so then I finally got finished with that after wasting 15 minutes or whatever trying to deal with that. And then they finally went away and I was able to come out. And then literally the next quest that it asks me to do is follow this person, not too close, not too far. And I was just like, at that point, I was like, I don't know if I could do this. It's like all the shitty things that I did not like about the Assassin's Creed games that are no longer in the new stuff was all the stuff that it started to like right in on right away. And I was just like, you know what? I feel like this might have been a game that at the time was awesome, but I don't know if I can go back to now with all of the like changes that they've made to that series.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I might give it another shot, but I think this might just be a situation where I gotta like put my hands up and go like,
yeah. Sometimes
I
it's
just
a little
don't
rough
know if,
going back. Especially
yeah,
when
I
they
just
did
don't know if I can do it.
Especially when they did such a cool invention of the franchise, right? With starting with Origins.
Yeah. So anyways, so I don't know. There you go. That's my hot take on a game that was amazing 5 years ago.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'd rather not go back and ruin my memories because I loved it so much.
But yeah, it's all those little things those are all the little things I didn't like about Assassin's Creed. And it's like, if this is what this game is going to be full of, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Well, that's nice that it reminding me of those little things because you don't even realize you take it for granted. But that used to be so annoying. 40 guys
so annoying you. And
then it's like you'd alert another guy trying to get away, and it's like, God damn it.
Yeah,
and then
it's like you climb up on the building thinking like, oh, there won't be anybody up here, and then there's like fucking dudes up here. Like, what are you doing? You're like, really?
Fuck, man?
Who the fuck is just standing on a goddamn rooftop? Like, what the fuck? Like, oh. So yeah.
All right. With that, I'm going to say we're going to get into some news. The news.
Yeah.
Brace yourself. Red Dead Redemption 2 requires 105 gigs of storage space. Time to delete those hard drives or just have them break on you. That's a good way to clean your storage space.
So this is for the Pro version of the game, the PS4 Pro version, which does have 4K textures. So I just do want to mention that there's a good chance that if you are playing it on a regular PS4 or an Xbox One or even a PC that doesn't need the high-res textures, there's a good chance that could be significantly smaller, like 70, 80 gigs. Like high-res textures are massive. So, that being said, those horse balls are not going to render themselves.
Yeah, a lot of outlets have gotten previews. If you want to learn about this game, there's tons of information out there right now. Obviously, we're not in San Francisco or New York, so we were unfortunately not invited to these events. But yeah, there's a lot of info out there. I haven't seen or read any of the previews. I don't want to know anything. I know it's going to be good. I'll wait till it comes out. I'm getting it on PS4 because that's where Teacup's getting it. So if you want to play with us, we'll be on PS4. I also got a price on it on Amazon for $50. So
wow.
I don't know. I haven't attempted to reach out to Rockstar, but every time I've tried to contact them in the past, it's just like, ooh, wah, wah, wah. It's just like,
we're Rockstar and we don't care.
It's just crickets and like, what do they call those rolling dust ball dead thingies?
Tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweeds, yeah. It's dead air and tumbleweeds. So pretty sure ain't going to be getting no early copy of Red Dead or any copy whatsoever through them.
I'm based purely on current previews. I'm not sure if that's going to be a game for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I know it'll be a game for me. I love the first one. It's like one of my top 5 games. One of the best, if not the best endings in the video games, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
So yeah, clear up that storage space, man. You got 3 weeks before that.
There you go.
Eats all your time. Fallout 76 beta dates were announced, along with a new video. I should probably watch that to try and figure out what this game is all about. But yeah, the beta is arriving October 23rd, and PlayStation and PC. Oh, that's for Xbox. They get a week exclusivity.
Yeah.
And then on PlayStation 4 and PC, October 30th. So great timing to drop a Fallout beta.
Also, it can only be accessed via pre-order.
Yes, I have pre-ordered the game, so on PC, so I do have a code and I'm registered for that. So
very nice. Look at you go.
I'm excited to check that out. That's the thing. That comes out 2 weeks after Red Dead. It's like, oh man, like how much time is that game going to demand?
There's nothing so far that I've seen about Fallout 76 that makes me want to buy it.
Yeah, well, you're not a Fallout guy, so we've been over this.
Yep.
We understand you were dropped as a child, so there's significant improvements coming to Destiny 2's infusion system, exotic drop rates, Iron Banner. In a weekly update by Bungie, they addressed the infusion system, drop rates, and Iron Banner. So some of the things that people have been complaining about. Like they changed the infusion system and like the cost, like in terms of you need masterwork cores, which masterwork cores are like hard to come by.
Right.
And you need them to infuse weapons. You need them and you don't need them. The thing is the way I infuse stuff in Destiny 2 is I only infuse dupes. Because there's only so many armor sets and weapons, so you do get a decent amount of duplicates. So if you infuse the exact same item that's a higher power level than another one, it's only 5,000 glimmer. It doesn't cost any mats, so that's actually way better. But that also
means that you have to have 2 exotics.
That depends on RNG. So for exotics, forget about it. Like I've seen 1 exotic drop, maybe 2 in the amount of time, whereas you could probably get an exotic like in any like couple hour play session before Forsaken came out. So they're gonna tweak that because people are pretty peeved. Like 30 hours no exotic, it's getting kind of ridiculous, especially when exotics are like, and like not only are you getting like an exotic, 1 exotic in 30 hours, you're getting a freaking armor piece exotic you already have. So people are quite livid about that. They're going to rework the economy with masterwork cores to make it easier. Actually, they're going to, I think, change the name of the item completely. There's a bunch of changes coming, so this game's always evolving and changing. So
I was just going to say, everything that you're saying sounds like a story that I hear about Destiny every other week.
Well, they did change it. Like all this stuff was addressed, but then the hardcores got every item in like 2 poop sock sessions, right? So it was too easy, right? And then now it's like it's too hard. So there's no winning, right? When you have a game with a very vocal hardcore community, this is what happens. But I do think the exotic drop rate is shit. They do need to fix that, because like that's what's so fun about when you play Diablo. It's like a rainbow of loot, and you feel rewarded for whatever little time you put into it. And I'm not gonna lie, in Forsaken, you are getting rewarded with like powerful legendaries, and you're upping your power level. But it's pretty cool to see like an awesome exotic, pop every once in a while, especially when they've like revamped all the exotics to be more more meaningful with really cool perks and effects, right?
Right.
It's like they're actually powerful and they all do really cool things now. So this is pretty huge news. There was rumors. There's always been the looming story of Google entering the gaming space. So, it came out a couple days ago that Google announced Project Stream, which lets you stream games through Chrome. And, of course, one of the games that they are highlighting with the service right now under beta, when it launches on Friday, you can sign up for, if you are in the U.S., have internet.
And by highlighting, you mean the only game available to stream.
So you need internet 25, so like 25 megabits per second or higher, and be in the US and be over 17 years of age, I believe, is whatever. But I'm really interested in trying it, but I'm not in the US, so I can't do it. Odyssey.
So the game is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So that's the game that they support now. So if I don't know if you get into the streaming group, do they then give you Assassin's Creed Odyssey to play? Or do you have to have Assassin's Creed Odyssey to stream? Like, that's the only thing I'm not clear on.
It's a partnership with Ubisoft. It's probably just a trial, but it must be like the full game. Mm-hmm. I just assume that however long this trial runs for, you can play the game. So if you're in the US, check out the show notes. I believe there's a link to the site where you can find where you can sign up. Another player enters the field. Yeah, like you can stream this right now on GeForce Now, but you have to own it on Uplay or Steam.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, I assume the system's going to be the same, unless they're going to do like an a truly Netflix. Like, there's no mention of pricing or anything. So like, this is just like, hey, and it's just awkward. Just like, hey guys, here's our thing. No giant news conference or like, just like bloop.
Yeah, it's interesting that they would announce that now when they've got
wish I could try
an event coming up in like 2 days.
Hey, if someone gets into this beta and wants to share me their information to download it or log in so I can test it, let me know, because I would love to, like, especially just to see how it works on the type of connections I have access to.
I wonder if they would VPN, like close it or whatever.
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah,
I've been using GeForce Now a lot from my office to sneak in a Crucible match or Gambit match here and there, and it works decent. I don't have the fastest internet at work, so the visuals downgrade, but
yeah,
I'm playing on my laptop.
It still works.
It works fine.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch Online adds 3 more NES games next week. What were they? Super Dodgeball, I believe.
NES Open Tournament Golf.
Open Tournament Golf and Solomon's Key. Yeah, NES Open Tournament Golf it's a pretty awesome golf game.
That's a good golf game.
It's like, I think I'm safe to say it's the first golf game that has like the RPG kind of like mechanics and so forth, that like the hot shots and all of those. Actually, I think NES Open Tournament Golf is done by Camelot, which is the Hot Shots games and the Mario Golf games. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm right. So those come next week. So I guess they're just adding 3 games a month or something. I don't know. They haven't really said, but hey, more games is good for your $20 yearly subscription.
Fair enough.
I love my Switch.
Getting something.
Nintendo Switch Online's awesome. It'll be awesome.
Uh-huh.
PlayStation Experience is skipping 2018. Sony says, confirmed on PlayStation Blogcast. Sean Layden was on the most recent episode, and he confirmed that, it's not happening. All their big stuff's out right now. Everyone knows what's coming. I guess they just don't have a lot of stuff to show that they don't want to have a lackluster conference. So I guess why do it, right? Because everyone's expectations are going to be through the roof, and if you can't match or exceed them, it's like then you're going to have upset people. So who knows if there'll be one next year. This just kind of highlights the fact that we're like, I've said like next year, I'm like, I don't think I want to go to E3 next year, because we're at that point where it's the transition.
It's that end
to the
of
next
this
console.
Yeah. Not to distract again, but Camelot was not involved in NES Open Tournament Golf.
I hate you.
I know.
The
internet, right? It's a thing, and I can look it up, and unfortunately they were not a studio until 1990.
No, but I think the roots of guys that came from that game were it founded Camelot.
Seeing as that company is still around,
I feel like there's a connection.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. All I know is that company didn't, so.
You suck.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, so that's disappointing. Not disappointing. I'm actually kind of happy, because I've always had huge FOMO about not going to PlayStation Experience, because it's always in like December, and it's like I don't have any vacation time off, and
Christmas is coming.
I've always wanted to go, but it's like San Francisco, so it's like, hey, here, fuck you. Or no, it was in Anaheim last year. But still,
it did.
Still not.
So it was in Vegas 1 year, and then it did Anaheim. San Francisco for 2, and then it did 1 year in Anaheim, which was last year.
I feel like, haven't they only had it 3 times?
I thought they did it 4, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was Vegas, San Francisco, and Anaheim. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. I was upset that they left Vegas, because Vegas is just so cheap. So that would have been like I wanted it to happen there again. I was prepped to go the second year. Right. And then I was like, oh, it's San Francisco? Well, fuck that. Like, I'm not going to San Francisco for $1 million for a 2-day convention. So, yeah, anyway. That sucks. Doesn't suck. If you don't got announcements, like, what are you going to do, right? You can't force it. And like you said, you don't want to disappoint the fans with nothing to say. There's 4.
I'm literally looking at it.
Really?
There's 2014
I feel like it's
was
not
Vegas.
even that old.
15 was in San Francisco.
And then the last 2 were in Anaheim.
Wow,
I really don't feel like there was that many. It feels so young.
Believe it or not, the first ever was actually in England back in 2002.
PlayStation Experience?
Yep.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it must have been much smaller scale, clearly.
20,000 people attended over 3 days.
I guess it was like a non-story here. That was like PlayStation 1 days.
2002 would have been PS2 days, but thanks for coming out.
Would it? Oh, wow.
PS2 came out in 2000. Come on, Rick.
I can't remember these things. I'm an old man.
99 was the Dreamcast.
Like
come on. I mean, it was a long time ago.
Oh, that's true, because I went to E3 99, and that's when I saw Soul Calibur and had my mind blown. Because that's when the Dreamcast came out, was 99. Yeah, that's right. I'm an idiot.
Yep.
No public service announcements this week, except for maybe check your Twitch Prime perks. There's been a bunch of there's some DLC stuff for Assassin's Creed. So their new rotation of games for the month is out as well.
Yep.
And of course, all the new Games for Gold and PSN stuff is out, which we talked about, I believe, last week.
Heck yeah.
I guess we can get into our free for all section.
Speaking of Twitch loot, Darksiders War Mastered Edition is included in that.
It's one of the games.
Heck yeah. So definitely go in there and get that.
Yeah, free for all. Jon Favreau's Star Wars series has a name, and first details were announced today. Yeah, it's the Mandalorian. Set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travails, that's a weird word, of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy far, far away from the authority of the New Republic. Sounds pretty cool to me. I like bounty hunters and the Mandalorians. They're pretty cool. I think that's a cool facet of the universe that could definitely use some more exploration. And Jon Favreau's awesome. So,
yeah, he did the first Iron Man.
Yeah, he did. I am excited for that. So that was a little cool announcement today. Do you want to talk about this, or do you want to call it?
I can talk about it next week. We're getting a little long in the tooth here.
I think with that, Dane, we have a show. Housekeeping. You can follow me on Twitter at RickF, no K, RICF.
As always, you can come hang out with me on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DAYNECODY.
Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, whatever.
Tell
Instagram,
friends.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're Geekoholics at all the social medias. And of course, if you have iTunes or Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review because it helps us with the algorithms and the internets and the growing the show. We don't ask for much, but if you have the ability to review us, that is the best thank you that you can give us for what you're doing. 5-star reviews only. 4 stars, okay. 3 stars, just don't bother. Don't review us. Don't tell anyone. Well, tell people to listen to us. Just
give an honest opinion and give a review anyways.
Yeah, whatever you think. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. That is episode 175 is in the gigabits. Well, not mine because all my hard drives died, but yours and your ear holes.
Go play some games. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I will do that this week. Peace.